Is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black Uchiha, 3 long face, skinny body. We are back still black with some more fire Boruto anime manga content. I'm following the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button to the video with your friends, and let's hop into the discussion. Yes, sir, ski.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. 1 chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
Okay, as of today, Boruto episode 286 officially aired and ended the Sasuke Retsuden anime arc. Now, in terms of those the last 2 episodes, episode 285, 286, I haven't even watched those episodes yet, but I still will be bringing you guys this wonderful news that we have today. Not necessarily news, more like just a preview summary, but as most people were anticipating for today's episode, rather than the episode itself, but much so the official first episode preview of the Code arc airing. And it just looks like a lot of the things that I've been saying in my previous video is really staying true, how the next canon episode essentially will be adapting contents from chapter 56 all the way possibly up into chapter 58, because we know they scrambled around a lot in that aspect. And in the preview, the main focus we get to see is Boruto and Kawaki's conversation. Now, those of y'all who understand the contents of the manga and who watched my previous videos, I've mentioned this before, the contents around that conversation with Kawaki proposing the idea of Boruto to implant his karma seal onto Code in order to have Boruto be provided with his own vessel. Therefore, he won't have to worry about Momoshiki taking over his body. We already understand where that whole entire storyline and plot thread led down to the current point that we are in the manga. So in terms of that conversation, I'm glad they implemented it, because after the Ishiki arc in the anime, Boruto and Kawaki did have their little conversation, I think, around the hospital, and I thought they completely added that scene and removed the manga version. But essentially they were just giving more details or just more scenes for Boruto and Kawaki together. Now they stayed true, and we're gonna see this official scene in the next episode of the anime. But we officially got the preview, and it looks like it's just staying true to what we're supposed to be seeing, because essentially one of the things that goes down is throughout Amado's explanation about Code, which we already seen in the anime, and we didn't get to see it yet, but we're now going to see it next episode with Boruto's getting his explanation about Code from Kawaki. We simultaneously get to see Code making his way to the Land of Snow in the manga, and it was lit, because they show us these scenes simultaneously as we hear about Code, about how he was one of the last vessels who was accepted yet rejected by karma at the same time. So let's just take a look into this episode preview. I already mentioned a whole lot of things about what I expect this episode to air in like multiple videos in the past, so I'm not going to spend too much time rather than just reading this summary for y'all. So let's just go ahead and get started. Code, a member of the Kara who worships Ishiki Otsutsuki, defeated by Boruto and company. That's crazy, right? Visits the cult facility of Bora, which we know is in the Land of Snow, who was also a member of Kara, in order to meet a certain person. And we understand who that certain person is. We've seen Eida and Damon in the opening. So in terms of will we get to see Eida's debut this episode or possibly the episode after, which will most likely be the case, it is about to be litty. I don't really see a lot of people going to be simping for Eida. I'm staying away from that lane for obvious reasons, but in terms of her character itself, she's going to have a huge solidified fan base, and she's a real dope character, especially in the manga. So I'm looking forward to her character introduction. So like Kawaki, as I just mentioned, Code had miraculously survived an experiment to select those who will become vessels for Ishiki, and has therefore acquired powers that surpass those of their leader Jigen. Now, essentially what we have with Amado talking about Code to Naruto, Sasuke, Shikamaru, we have the full thing being unraveled in the manga, while we simultaneously see Code make his move in the Land of Snow. Now in the anime version, all we had up to the point was Amado revealing that Code was the last member of the Car organization, that he had a karma seal, and that his powers surpassed Jigen. So there's much more to that conversation and much more details that Amado gave them, not necessarily too much things that expand on everything that we already know, but in terms of the full conversation, it was never adapted into the anime, just partially. So I'm excited to see how they're going to finish adapting that part with Amado's explanation for Code, right? So therefore has surpassed the powers of their leader Jigen. Code has vowed revenge against Boruto and Kawaki, who destroyed Ishiki Otsutsuki. Meanwhile, in the village of Konohagakure, that's crazy. That's my first time I said that name fully, so fluently. Traces left by Code have been found just outside the village. Boruto is approached by Kawaki with a proposal. We understand what that proposal is, as I just mentioned, while the Hokage and the other villagers are on high alert. So essentially in the episode preview, we get to see a shot of, I believe, Sai and Shikamaru looking down at the ground, which is what's presumably to believe Code's claw marks. And there's a whole lot of explanations we get in those scenes that justify some of the anime filler content that we've been getting, specifically speaking about anime canon content, I should say. Olga, the 8th Kara member, in terms of that whole little situation, that mini arc with Boruto, understanding that Sai and his group did a big mission in terms of gathering a whole bunch of the numbers of the elders of the Kara organization in order to track down Code. So how they will tie that in, because they just mentioned it in the manga and we get to see glimpses of it in the anime, but now that we're going to have that full scene with Sai and Shikamaru talking, I'm excited to see how they go about that. But yes, sir, man, next 2 episodes, Eida debut, Code starting next week. We have the confirmation we're going to see Boruto and Kawaki's conversation, with Boruto being presented the idea of planting his karma seal on Code. Boruto 80% Otsutsuki, man. I can't say that, ossification, whatever, bro. Y'all already know what time it is. Boruto episode 287, Code arc is here next week. Yes, sir. Get into my next video. Comment below how y'all feel about the episode preview and how excited are y'all for this arc to officially start. Holla at you, bro. I'm gonna holla at y'all, Black Child. Yes, sir. Ski.
Hey, can we take a trip to the sky? Show them that our limits too high.
Cocoa butter hips on the west side. She said